cruise ships attend the coral island of Lifou, which is an 81 kilometre by 24 kilometre wide island in the South Pacific, at the good grace of the local chief. But being a Catholic and Protestant country, modesty is highly prized. So cruise goers are asked to cover up, or they will not allow us to visit any longer. Lifou is a tender port, and there are two ways that you as a cruise passenger can get on to Lifou. You can either get a shore excursion, and with that shore excursion comes your allocated tender time, or you go into a public space and they'll tell you where that is to collect a tender ticket, and they will call the tender ticket, and when your tender is available, you'll be called down to zero deck. When going ashore at any port, you need your cruise card and a government-issued ID. I always take my original hard copy. And if you are on a shore excursion, make sure that you have your excursion ticket available. To access a tender, cruise passengers have to be able to take a few steps. So if you do have mobility issues and are using a motorised wheelchair, you have to be able to take a few steps into the tender and then be able to use a collapsible wheelchair when you get to the port. Unfortunately, your electric wheelchair would not be able to be taken onto a tender. At any tender port, tenders run frequently to and from the boat to the port. You can return to the boat at any time on any of the returning tenders. The time of the last returning tender is always notified somewhere near the gangway. A tender transfer, depending on the weather and the port, can take anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. Here at Lifou, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. With a tender boat being a smaller boat, passengers are going to feel more motion of the ocean. So do not be surprised if you end up with a little element of motion sickness during a tender transfer. A real priority when you're doing a tender transfer, if you're going to be sitting on that upper exposed deck, wear sunscreen, because the combination of the wind and the reflection from the water, it's going to be pretty hot up there sometimes. But on the positive side, it's going to give you an absolutely fabulous view of your cruise ship to get some amazing photos. When visiting Lifou, cruise passengers are notified that they can actually use Australian cash on the island, and if you carry small denominations such as $5 notes, it makes it very easy for you to purchase some local souvenirs. Unfortunately, there is no ATMs or electronic fund transfers available on Lifou, so you cannot take your credit card. It will be useless for you. You've got to carry cash. Souvenirs on Lifou can be anything from sarongs, colourful shirts, necklaces and earrings, even cooked coconut crab, and the locals will even chop off the top of the coconut for you to drink coconut water. When embarking on a tender transfer, your safety is the cruise line's highest priority, so follow the instructions of the crew. When entering and exiting a tender, please do it in an orderly fashion. There is no reason to push, to jump in line or jump the queue. Just wait your turn and be patient. Once you have been safely transferred from the ship to Lifou and you walk up the jetty to the beautiful island, you can have an explore either with an excursion booked by with the cruise company, or an independent person who you can purchase a tour from, or just wander yourself around the island. This short walk on the jetty will expose you to tropical fish and even some sea turtles. As you stroll down the jetty, there's going to be a reminder of the time that is going to be allocated for the last tender that is going to return to the ship, to make sure that you are back on the jetty, on the tender, and back on the ship in time for it to leave. If you have purchased a shore excursion from the cruise line, you just follow the signs up to the area of the waiting buses. You will have a few opportunities for the shipboard photographers to take a wonderful photo of you with the ship in the background. The walk to the buses is probably about 500 or 600 metres up a gentle incline of a semi-sealed pathway. So if you have mobility issues, be careful and watch your step. Your visit to Lifou will give you, as the cruise passenger, an opportunity to have your hair braided, whether in zigzags or cornrows. The small marketplace has the colourful sarongs and shirts and necklaces and earrings, etc., for you to buy a unique souvenir from your visit to Lifou. Always being mindful that if any souvenirs that you purchase are made of wood or shell, make sure you declare them for biosecurity when you return to Australia. The last thing we need is to have an import of a virus, a bug or a bacteria. Often there will be some local musicians playing lively, upbeat island music, and you can also partake in a beer, a nice relaxing experience for the island of Lifou. So whether you do a shipboard excursion or independently explore Lifou yourself, have an amazing visit to this wonderful tropical island. This is Julie Jules Cruise Companion saying stay safe everybody and happy travels.